Hello and welcome to the video. Me and my partner just spent the last 2 months living in Thailand, and I'm here to tell you about the highs and the lows of this experience for both of us. So if I wanted to give you a very quick review of Thailand, I would say it's beautiful, it's cheap, and you should definitely go there. And I'm going to go into more detail as of why I believe that is true, because this place is amazing. We traveled from UK to Phuket, which was a long and arduous journey I will not go into, involving PCR tests being 1 hour out of date and missing flights as a result. But we got there in the end. We got to stay with my brother and his crazy dog River.
A few moments later.
What are the first things you'll notice? Well, for a start, the weather is amazing, which I think just naturally makes people happier. Maybe it's the vitamin D, I'm not sure. The second thing you'll notice is that everything is insanely cheap. For example, a full body massage, or a good 1 hour massage, you can pay 400 baht in Phuket, which is effectively less than £10. A taxi journey that might take you 10 to 20 minutes will be 200 baht, which is less than £5. Food is one of my favorite things, and the food in Thailand is incredible. Phuket also has really nice shopping malls, which is quite surprising. I actually think they're much nicer experiences to be in than my experience of malls or shopping centres in the UK. So the biggest difference for me between living in the UK and living in a place like Thailand is how embedded the nature is within life. What I mean by that is, no matter where you live, you seem to be next to the most incredible views, and sometimes this embedded nature can be a bit too much. But most of the time it is amazing, and I think good for anyone's well-being. When you're just walking down the street and you see someone with a pet monkey, or you literally see a chicken cross the road, it's the novelty in reality, which I think people can always enjoy, just to experience a different side of life. So the first place we went to was Phuket. Phuket is technically an island, although there's a bridge connecting it to the mainland. There is lots of beaches, there's lots of incredible views, there's amazing viewpoints to go and watch the sunset. They seem to love Muay Thai. There's a lot of people in Phuket that are very into their fitness, so you can find very good healthy food options everywhere that is very cost effective. Because we're in Phuket, we decided to go on a boat trip. I don't like to exaggerate things, but I did feel like there was a really good chance that all of us could drown. The weather wasn't amazing, so we thought the boat trip might be cancelled, but when we turned up on the day, we had a relatively small speedboat full of, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 people. And when we got onto the sea and we started driving further away from Phuket, we knew it was going to be an hour to a 2 hour boat ride to the first destination. The waves were so big, I was looking over the side of the boat, which is relatively small, and I was seeing water go above the boat just from like the up and down of the waves. At one point during the journey there, the engine stopped. When the engine stops, the boat moves so much more aggressively because the engine's not fighting against the waves. So instead of moving like this, you're moving like your whole body is going up and down. And one of the captain or one of the other people that was like helping drive the ship had to go and dislodge something from the engine and get it to work again. But there was a moment where everyone didn't know if we were just completely stranded in the middle of the ocean, just with the boat going crazy with all of these waves. I've been on jet skis before which have flipped over, and given the size of this boat and the size of the waves, I was at least 40% sure that that could happen at any moment during almost the entire journey. And at times we were out on complete open sea, so all you could see was sea in every direction, and the waves were so violent. Although we did have life jackets, it was not a pleasant experience of a journey. But having said that, after an hour or so of this really crazy hectic journey where you're being thrown up and down the entire time, we got to Maya Bay. I think Leonardo DiCaprio filmed the beach there as well, so it's quite an iconic tourist destination. We got to do some cool stuff, we got to jump off the boat, we got to see some exciting views, and everything seemed to be more peaceful after that. We then got to go to a place called Phi Phi, which is one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. It is the depiction of an island paradise. If you Google island paradise, I would suspect you would see something that is either Phi Phi Island or something that looks exactly like Phi Phi Island, and I think everyone should visit Phi Phi at least once. The island is so small, they don't even have cars, and you can walk across it within like 10 minutes or so, and the views are amazing. They have lots of nice little bars and restaurants as well. It's just a good time. On this boat trip, we also went to a place called Monkey Island, which is pretty self-explanatory.
We are both, of course, great apes.
They then took us to a very small island that was so small they did not have plumbing or anything. They just had one stall where they had drinks and food for sale. So we had about an hour there just to chill out. You can go on jet skis or whatever else. Exploring this island was quite fun. We had a friendly cat follow us the entire way, which was cool. And the journey back was relatively peaceful, surprisingly. So after staying for 5 weeks in Phuket, we decided to go to Chiang Mai, which is in the north of Thailand. Chiang Mai is like Phuket, but without the beaches, and it's even cheaper because Phuket is a lot more popular of a tourist destination now, and Chiang Mai is in the mountains. The price for an hour massage is now 200 baht, which is less than £5. It's half the price it was in Phuket. The price of a taxi, like a 10 to 15 minute journey, might now be 50 baht, which is like £1.25. It's absolutely absurd. You can go have a massive breakfast with coffee, a full English breakfast, some cereal, some yogurt, get some pancakes as well, get a smoothie, and that might set you back 300 baht, like £7.50. It's absolutely absurd. Even though it costs so much to get there with the PCR test and the flights and everything else, it's so cheap being there that it actually works out cheaper to live there than not to. The place we stayed in Chiang Mai was a whopping £20 per night, including all of the Airbnb fees and everything. And this was for 2 of us in a shared apartment with a full living room, a kitchen, a bedroom, a bathroom, an ensuite, etc. Like a nice place. We have a balcony, we have a gym and a pool we have access to whenever we want. It's a really nice place, genuinely. So the cost of living in Chiang Mai is just ridiculous. So now that we were in the north of Thailand, we decided to do the most recommended thing, which is to go to see an elephant sanctuary. Again, I think it's partly the novelty, but getting to see elephants just roaming around in a natural habitat is pretty insane. The tour that we did involved over an hour drive up the mountain, and then there is a massive area that the elephants live in. They come over straight away when people arrive because they associate that with getting attention and being fed, and we got to feed them loads of bananas. It turns out elephants eat banana peel as well, which surprised me. I don't know if that surprises anyone else. It looks like the elephants are really nice and want to hug you, but they actually get you to put a banana behind your back so the trunk goes around you like it's hugging you, but it really just wants the banana. But it does seem like they like people quite a lot. They are very friendly. And we got to have a mud bath with the elephants. It does sound really nice, and it is, and you have to kind of let go of your OCD when you're in those moments because you're getting covered in mud, and then the elephant will take a massive dump in the mud, and you'll realize that you're covered in the mud, which the elephant has just dumped in, and you'll have to just think, no, it's okay. This is nature's way. This is fine. don't think about it. And the guys that work there will literally pick up the elephant dump with their hands and throw it, which still baffles me. We then got to go into a river and wash the elephants and with the elephants, and they like shoot water all over you. It can be quite eye-opening to see how other people live, and these people seem happy for all intents and purposes, and they don't make a lot of money, but they live fulfilling lives in their own way. And I mean, they're surrounded by nature and elephants and so many things that I think in the West that we lose sight of. After the tour of the village, we got to go rafting, which is where they basically put a few bamboo sticks together to make a boat. I mean, it's just like 4 long bamboo sticks they've strapped together, and they sent us down the river with effectively a canoeist, and that was actually quite fun. It was very peaceful. And seeing as we were in Chiang Mai, we were very close to possibly my favorite place in the entire world that we had to go and visit, which is a place called Pai. So this journey to Pai is 3 hours of crazy winding mountain roads where you're being thrown about in the car. Not quite as bad as the boat journey, but another journey where you got to brace yourself for it, and it's not the most pleasant, but when you get there, it is well worth it. And Pai is genuinely one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And they have this really cool night market where you can buy lots of different food from the vendors. You can buy some clothes. That's actually where I got this shirt. And everything is so insanely cheap. Again, this is another place that I think everyone has to visit if they have the opportunity to, and they should try to create the opportunity to. The place we were staying was a small hut. It did have a fan instead of aircon, which wasn't ideal, but it was okay for one night. We had a nice bed, we had like all the space you need for just sleeping for one night. And this was the view when we opened our door in the morning. This place cost £7.50 per night. You can pay a little bit extra to get an aircon room and it's still going to be insanely cheap to stay in this place. We went to see this small Chinese village and we got to feed some fish. What more can I say? It's picturesque, the food is amazing, it's really cheap. I literally have nothing but good things to say. That's the gist of our Thailand trip. It sounds quite pretentious when people say they went on like a gap year and they found themselves, but and I'm not going to try to defend that phrase, but in some ways, if you put yourself in a different culture and a different experience over time, you will notice what makes you happy and what makes you unhappy, because you'll get context to those things in different environments. So you can find more what you want to gravitate towards and gravitate away from in your daily life and bring that information back to wherever you go. So for example, with me, I know that living in the UK or in a more Western place, I always had negative associations with nature, that it was kind of boring and I don't want to say I didn't understand it, I just wasn't interested in it. But being in a place like Thailand where you're so exposed to it and you notice yourself being in it more, it almost has a calming effect. It helps me be more present, and that is something I want to bring back to my quote-unquote normal life when I'm not in a place like Thailand that has nature embedded so well in society. Go visit Thailand. If you don't have any obligations like responsibilities, if you don't have pets or children or something that's stopping you from going here and you're on the fence, then my advice is just do it. You might be surprised by the experience. At worst case scenario, I think you'll learn a lot about yourself, just exposing yourself to different cultures and different environments. The tourism was obviously hit pretty hard by the pandemic, so there's all the more reason for more people to come here and help the tourism trade. Tourism is one of their main sources of income in Thailand. The people are amazing, they're extremely kind and helpful all the time, surprisingly so. They seem to go above and beyond in areas where I'm not used to. I hope this video was enjoyable. I hope it inspires you to go to Thailand if you've not been before, because it's just somewhere I think everyone should visit. And thanks for watching.